We have classified matter into pure substances versus mixtures. We can also put properties into categories. Properties can be either physical or chemical. With physical properties, the type of substance does not change. For example, we may be studying water, which is H2O the whole time. Those water molecules could be in a different location in space due to changing states of matter or due to mixing, for example. Those water molecules could also have different energies. For example, solid water has less energy than liquid water. But even with these changes in location or energy, the type of substance is not changing. With chemical properties, the type of substance does change. Bonds get broken and the atoms get rearranged. The molecules you get out are different from the molecules you put in. For example, water molecules could be split to make hydrogen and oxygen molecules. Examples of physical changes include melting, boiling, filtering, and mixing. In each of these changes, the type of substance does not change. Filtering is a way to get pure substances out of mixtures. Those pure substances are the same molecules, though, whether they are in the mixture or not. Examples of physical properties include color, density, hardness, melting point, and boiling point. We can make these types of measurements without our substance changing. Throughout the semester, we will be looking at some specific physical changes, changes in state of matter. We should be aware of the terminology. Solid to liquid is called melting, liquid to gas is called boiling, gas to liquid is called condensing, and liquid to solid is called freezing. When the type of substance does change, a chemical change has taken place. Examples of chemical changes include digestion, combustion, and oxidation. One chemical reaction that takes place during digestion is the breaking of a peptide bond between amino acids and proteins that you eat. Combustion is a specific type of reaction that involves addition of heat and oxygen while releasing a large amount of energy. When you brown meat, the myoglobin is being oxidized, which turns the meat brown. Examples of chemical properties include flammability, acidity, and corrosiveness. These properties all deal with a chemical change that is taking place, in which the type of substance is changing. Here is a question for you to try answering. Remember to pause the video before the next slide so you can come up with your answer. Which is not a physical process? Is it A, boiling, B, freezing, C, filtering, or D, combustion? The correct answer is D, combustion. Boiling, freezing, and filtering are all physical processes in which the identity of the substance does not change. However, combustion is a chemical process in which the identity does change. We'll talk later about how it's when a substance combines with oxygen and typically produces carbon dioxide and water, which are different substances than what we started with. Another way that we can classify properties besides physical versus chemical is extensive versus intensive. Extensive properties depend on the amount of matter present. I think of the word extent. Examples of extensive properties include mass, volume, length, and heat. The more molecules you have of something, the more mass it is going to have. All else being equal, a longer board has more matter than a shorter board. Heat and temperature are not the same thing. Heat is a quantity that depends on how much matter is present. A drop of boiling oil contains much less heat than a pot of boiling oil, and would therefore hurt you much less if you only got a drop on your skin. Intensive properties do not depend on the amount of matter present. I think of the words intrinsic or internal. Temperature is an intensive property. Let's say I have 2 beakers, each half filled with water at room temperature. If I pour all the water into one beaker, the water will still be at room temperature. Another intensive property is density. It doesn't matter if I have a thimble full of water or a bathtub full of water. The density will be the same. Since it's always the same, I can look it up in a table, and I find that at room temperature, the density of water is always 1 gram per milliliter. Which of these is not an extensive property? Is it A, mass, B, density, C, volume, or D, length? The correct answer is B, density. Density is an intensive property because it does not depend on how much of something you have, whereas mass, volume, and length are all extensive properties, which are related to the amount of the substance that you have.